Welcome back, troops. Let's Tab 59. I hope you're all well. So, out on the tab as usual, along the beach again, making the most of the sunny weather. So thanks for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed, please consider it. And thank you for all the support so far. So, British Army recruitment. It appears it's been in decline for some time. And it's becoming a bit of a talking subject, and some people are calling it a bit of a crisis. So, why aren't we recruiting young men and women at the right rates in today's British Army? Well, I've had a little look online, tried to do a little bit of research, not a great deal. And one of the factors could be wages, another one could be conditions, food, accommodation, etc. Or it could even be the current state of global affairs. Maybe young men and women a little bit concerned at the moment, the way things are going around the world, they could be joining up and going into a warlike situation, which I don't think is going to happen, to be honest. So wages, first of all, money. Now I can't get absolutely accurate figures, so the figures I'm going to give to you in a moment are just what I've managed to find online, and I'm not sure exactly how up to date they are. And of course, with some of the wages, there's a lot of variations, things like the particular trade you choose, etc. And I'm going to compare those army wages to other services like firefighters and the police, and see what the rough comparison is. And again, these are only rough figures, so don't hold me to them. So first of all, I've got a few jotted down here. Let's pull over here for a second. Let's pull over here. So let's have a little look. So during phase 1 training, that's your initial training as a soldier in the British Army, roughly today, you're going to start while you're in basic training on £18,687. Now once you're trained, and it will vary on your role, but let's say you're an infantryman, because that's probably going to be one of the lowest pays. Once you're fully trained, you're going to be going up to £23,496, so £23,500 roughly. Obviously, like I say, if you go into a more technical trade, after your basic training, you've done your trade training, then you're going to get a bit more than that. But that's the rough figure. So let's just deal with initial training first of all. So you join up, you're going to get £18,687. If you join the fire service, and you're a trainee fireman, so a recruit, you're going to start at £27,178. And again, that's going to vary. I think if you're in London, you might get a bit more than that. So that's quite a difference. That's nearly £10,000 difference between being a soldier in training and a firefighter in training. And remember also that soldiers get paid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is no overtime pay for a soldier, whereas a firefighter, once it's complete, or she's finished her training, is a competent firefighter, she'll get, or he'll get overtime pay, whereas the army don't. So about £10,000 difference. Now let's look at the police force. Entry-level police are on £24,780. Again, I think if you're in the Met or something like that, it's probably going to be a bit more. We're just talking about the basic entry-level wages here. So let's just run them again. The soldier in training, £18,687. A firefighter, £27,178. And a police officer at £24,780. So that could be a factor. After training, as I say, a trained soldier, £23,496. A competent firefighter is going to be on £36,226. And the average pay of a trained police officer is only £27,978. So you can see the firefighters have got it there completely. Don't hold me to those figures. That's just what I've managed to find online. There might be a variation in that, but what we can clearly see from that is that the soldiers are on less pay. Certainly starting pay and when they're fully trained, unless their role changes. So not great money. What else could be a contributing factor then to people not wanting to join the army? Well, could it be conditions? So I remember when I was in training back in the 70s, obviously, let's not talk actually about accommodation during training. Let's talk about the accommodation once you're a trained soldier and you're at your unit. I think we were in 8-man rooms, sometimes 6 in a room. Later on in the 80s, when we moved to UK from Germany, we had 4-man rooms, so a little bit better. And now, even when I left back in 2015, in the 20-teens, 2013, 20, we're starting to get Z-type accommodation for the troops, single soldiers that is. So Z-type accommodation is basically a travel lodge sort of room. Excuse me. You get an ensuite, you get your own ensuite, you're not sharing showers. So I think the accommodation's pretty good. I could be wrong. If you're out there and you're a serving young single soldier and your accommodation's not that good, not how I'm describing it, please let me know in the comments. So I don't think accommodation's a problem for a single soldier. I don't believe it. I think it's pretty good standard. Food, I think the food for single soldiers is also very good. I never really had a problem with it. The odd time when I was a younger soldier, went down to cookhouse, made it a bit late, there wasn't so much choice as if you were near the front of the queue maybe. But and I know now they've got pay as you dine. It's not stopped at sorts as such once you're out of basic training. So I think the level, the quality of food is very, very good. So out of that, I can only think the problem would be pay. That might be the only thing that's putting people off. Now, I've got a friend who's about 29 years old, heart set on joining the army, had a look at different trades, intelligent guy, and obviously he's 29, so he's not a young recruit, potential recruit. Went along to the careers office, had his heart set on going in the Royal Signals. He liked telecommunications that time, he got quite computer literate, etc. And he thought that would be the role for him. Went along, had a chat at the careers office, and had done the tests, etc. And they said, no, your school education's not up to scratch, you haven't got the qualifications there to join the Royal Signals, choose something else. Now, he's got his heart set on going in the army, so that hasn't put him off in his case. He's looking at other trades right now. But potentially, a recruit could go along, and just because his civilian education is not quite up to scratch, they bar him from going in a certain, or her, going in a certain regiment or corps. So are we losing people that way? Where, Royal Signals, yes, it's a technical corps, I get that, with computerised telecommunications, etc. But there must be trades in there that don't need that same level of education. And can't the army train you once you're in anyway, on your courses? So I don't know if that's a factor as well. Maybe it is. Maybe people are going up, their heart's set on joining a particular corps, particular trade, haven't got quite the education for it, and the army aren't willing to move the goalposts. Is it down to Capita? As you know, Capita now run all the recruiting. Back in my day, when you went in the careers office, my one was in Canterbury, in Kent. Excuse me, and it was a joint careers office, if you like. There's Army, Navy and Air Force guys in there. And they were actually manning it. It was manned by serving soldiers. Now I believe there is serving soldiers still in the careers office, but I believe a lot of it's done by Capita. And I'm wondering whether they're not really getting enough face-to-face when they're recruiting people. They're just looking at stats, what the guys or girls got as education-wise, and just turning people down. We're losing people that way. Of course, retention is another big factor. People are leaving the army apparently at a faster rate than we can recruit, and that's been going on for some time. So why aren't we retaining young people? We invest a lot of money in a soldier. When he or she joins the army, it costs a lot of money to get them through basic training, kit and equipment, etc. And then they leave after a few years. So why aren't we retaining them? Is there something wrong there? Anyway, just wanted to put that out there, see what people thought about why we might be struggling with recruiting and retention. And if there's any young soldiers out there, please let me know. Okay troops, that's the end of this little one. Beautiful day here, as you can see. Tab on for a bit more, another couple of miles, and then I'm done. So till the next time troops, thanks for tuning in, thanks for your support. Leave us a comment and a like if you can. Till the next time, let's tab.